ChatGPT has told you something that was not true in the same steady tone it uses for everything it gets right. That is two faults, not one. Making things up is the easy one. ChatGPT has no way to say nothing, so something always comes out. Sounding sure is not a fault at all, it's the behavior we reward. On the exams that decide which chatbot gets released, the answer I don't know scores exactly what a confident wrong answer scores 0. To see why, watch a model produce one word. A model is the thing behind ChatGPT that actually produces the words. So every answer you have ever been given came out of one. And this one is partway through a sentence. It is working out a score for every word that could come next. Whole words near enough. The real unit is a fragment of one, and that difference changes nothing here. Those scores drawn as bars. Taller means the model rates that word as more likely and it picks one from near the top, puts it down, and runs the whole thing again for the word after that. Now look down that list for the option that means I have no answer. There is no such bar. Every entry is a continuation, something to say next. And one of them just ends the turn, which is how a chatbot ever stops talking. Ending the turn is not the same as not knowing. It could put down the words I'm not sure. Of course, it could. But those are just more words in the same list, competing with all the others on score. There is no separate switch for admitting it does not know. So when the answer is not in there, the list still hands back its best continuation. The industry calls that a hallucination, and what it costs you is that a made up fact arrives looking exactly like a real one. So the real question is not why a model answers, it is why it so rarely picks the hedge, and that answer is not inside the model at all. You cannot open a model up and read off how good it is. There is nothing in there that tells you that. So the whole field does the only thing available. It sets an exam. So take that exam and put two models in front of it. OpenAI and researchers at Georgia Tech did exactly this in a paper, with two models invented for the argument. Model A says when it is not sure, and Model B always guesses. Both get the same question. The only thing that differs is how they handle not knowing. A answers, I don't know. B answers with something specific, confident, and completely wrong. A gets 0, B gets 0. As far as the score is concerned, those two answers are the same answer. That exam has a name. A benchmark is a fixed list of questions with a known answer key, and it is the thing that decides which model gets announced, funded, and quoted in a press release. Most of the benchmarks that matter give a point for a right answer and 0 for everything else. A wrong answer scores 0, and so does I don't know. That rule is there for a good reason. It is the simplest thing that works when you are making thousands of answers automatically and it costs nothing to run. Take 100 questions, say a model genuinely knows 60 of them. 60 is a number I have made up so the arithmetic is visible, not a measurement of anything. Model A answers those 60 and says, I don't know to the other 40. That is 60 right and 40 blank. Score is 60. Model B answers all 100. The same 60 right plus whatever it happens to get right out of the 40 it is guessing at. Guess right one time in 10 and that is 4 more points. 64 against 60. And B risks nothing by doing it because there is no score below 0. So a wrong guess and a blank are worth exactly the same amount. So guessing is free and sometimes it pays. Line those scores up and you have a leaderboard, which is the thing announcements quote, and the model that admits what it does not know sits below the model that never admits anything. Not by much, below it in public. That is not one exam, it runs every time a new version is built, and the version that scored higher is the one that goes out to you. Nobody sat down and typed never admit uncertainty to a model because it got selected. The same way anything that scores better gets kept, and anything that scores worse quietly does not. It is the student who works out that a blank and a wrong answer are worth the same and therefore stops leaving blanks. The student walks out of the exam hall and stops guessing, and that is exactly where the comparison stops working because there is no exam hall here. The behavior that came top of the ranking is the behavior that answers you every time you ask it anything. In 2023, two lawyers in New York filed a brief in a federal court. It cited six earlier decisions that supported the client's case, named citations, quoted passages from the judgments. None of these six existed. A chatbot had produced all of them and they read exactly like the real thing. Asked whether those cases were real, the chatbot said that they were, and that answer went to the court in a sworn statement. The machine had no way to answer, I cannot find these, so it produced a confirmation in the same steady tone as everything else it had produced that day. On the 22nd of June 2023, the court ordered the two lawyers and their firm to pay $5,000 and wrote that they had engaged in acts of conscious avoidance and false and misleading statements to the court. So the fix is not more data and it is not a bigger model. Both of those aim at making a model right more often, and the answer I don't know is worth the same zero either way. The recommendation in the OpenAI paper is to change the marking on the leaderboards that already dominate. Leave the answer I don't know on zero and put a confident wrong answer below zero. So nothing is added for hedging and the whole cost lands on being confidently wrong. Not a separate honesty test running alongside the main one, because a separate test can be ignored and the ranking everybody quotes would carry on rewarding exactly what it rewards now. Under that marking, the sheet that says, I don't know, stops being worth the same as a confident wrong answer. And a model that hedges when it should stops losing points for it. Whether the big leaderboards have actually changed how they mark, I could not confirm either way, and what is on the record is only the recommendation itself. Three steps then. Nothing on that list means I have no answer, so an answer always comes out. The exam marks a blank and a confident wrong answer identically. So the version that never hedges is the version that wins, and the version that wins is the one you're talking to. So the next time an answer comes back with no hedging anywhere in it, remember that the flatness is a style that scored well and treat it as telling you nothing about whether the answer is right. Alright, if you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.